Being lonely, it's an awful feeling. You feel like no matter how many dates you go on, how many times you swipe through dating apps, you can never seem to find your person. Meanwhile, all of your friends have miraculously found their soulmates, and you're the only single one left. What's worse is that as an INFJ man, all you want is someone who gets you. If you've given up on ever finding love, I want you to listen to me carefully, because I'm going to tell you something very important. Are you ready? Finding love as an INFJ man is possible. You heard me right. No matter how much heartbreak you've been through, I'm here to tell you that you can find your soulmate. In fact, I'm going to show you the reasons why you have no luck with relationships, and then show you how to change things. Number 1, you have low self-esteem. Stop crying. Man up. Ever heard this before? As an INFJ man, chances are that you have. An INFJ man is often a highly sensitive person, or HSP for short. This means that you're more reactive to external stimuli, whether that's loud noises, crowds of people, or bright lights. Because you frequently experience sensory overload and are highly empathetic, you might come across as more emotional than most people. Others may have told you that you were weak or less macho because of this.
Stop crying. Stop crying.
Understandably, people calling you less of a man because you're more sensitive can crush your self-esteem, and maybe even lead you to believe that you're not deserving of love. I'm here to tell you that's wrong. Your emotion and ability to be empathetic is a strength, not a weakness. Instead of trying to push it away and try to be something you're not, lean into it. Let's look at one of the biggest heartthrobs of all time, Tom Cruise.
I love you. You complete me.
Both Tom Cruise and the character he plays in this movie, Jerry Maguire, are emotional people. But instead of being embarrassed by emotion, Tom Cruise fully embraces it. This gives him the confidence to approach women, because he's accepting of who he is and doesn't let other people tell him that his emotion is a bad thing. Furthermore, the women he encounters love it because he's confident in who he is. Like Tom Cruise, know that your ability to be vulnerable and share the depths of your feelings is your secret weapon, not something that makes you less desirable. Number 2, you're intense. Have you ever been on a date and all of a sudden blurted out, "What do you think is the meaning of life?" Did your date look at you like you were crazy? Did you want to shrivel up and disappear? As an INFJ man, you can probably relate to this. You're on a constant search to uncover the deep mysteries of life, like, you guessed it, its meaning. But not everyone wants to talk about big ideas all the time, so you might find yourself in the habit of either scaring people away or hiding your true colors altogether. Either way, it probably doesn't feel great. But what if you reframed this and thought of your intensity as a way to help you find the right person? Let me explain what I mean. As an INFJ, you can't change your intensity. It's just a part of who you are. So you're going to have to lean into it and learn to share your excitement of it with someone who gets it.
You cut me open and I keep bleeding, keep bleeding love.
While they may not be talking about the meaning of life, Ashton Kutcher and Natalie Portman's characters bond over their collective love of cheesy pop songs in this scene. Because they're not afraid to change their quirks, they end up finding one another and are perfect for each other. Just as this clip shows, don't try to change who you are for someone else. Instead, spend your time focused on finding someone who's on your wavelength and who loves what makes you different. Number 3, you want to help others. Did you know that the nickname for INFJs is the counselor? That's because as an INFJ, you have a deep desire to help people and improve conditions for those around you. And while this is one of your shining qualities, you have to be careful with it when it comes to relationships. In fact, as an INFJ man, you might be unconsciously drawn into toxic relationships because you want to help those who are struggling. If this all sounds like you, you've likely been in a toxic relationship before. Maybe you've experienced your partner pushing you around, discarding your needs, or even worse. Think of how Amber Heard was shown to have treated Johnny Depp in their trial.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You are admirable.
Johnny Depp shares many traits in common with INFJs, and some even consider him to be one. But as seen in this clip, he found himself in a toxic relationship with Amber Heard. While it's not clear whether he entered into the relationship out of a desire to help her, he's similar to many INFJs in that he found himself trapped in a bad relationship because he tried to overlook the bad for the good. So how do you stop the cycle of dating toxic partners? Ask yourself, do you feel better around them? Supported? Safe to be yourself and to speak your mind? If not, it might be time to put an end to things. I know, that's easier said than done, but as the saying goes, practice makes perfect. Practice asking these questions early on in the dating process, and we can guarantee that you'll find better success. Number 4, you're introverted. You know you're an INFJ when you come home from a party and feel like you could sleep for a month. That's because you're introverted and need time alone to recharge. This time alone isn't a preference, it's a necessity. It's as necessary to you as eating and sleeping. However, you can easily get trapped in your introversion when you're in a relationship because you struggle to convey your needs to your partner. If you don't properly explain why you need time alone, your partner might jump to the conclusion that you're blowing them off or that you secretly don't want to spend time together. Or they might even accuse you of being boring. However, by learning to convey your needs, you can avoid all of this. Take a look at the movie Elf.
Just need some alone time.
Throughout the movie, Will Ferrell's character isn't afraid to share how he's feeling and what he needs, even if it's time alone. Because he takes care of his own needs instead of relying on others to guess what he's feeling, he's eventually able to meet the woman of his dreams. Number 5, you can't open up. Do you want to know one of the most ironic things about being an INFJ man? You're great at helping others open up, and I mean you're great at it. However, you struggle to open up yourself. Because of this, you often come across as guarded or closed off. Matt Damon's character, Will, in the movie Good Will Hunting, is a great example of this.
If you don't love me, you should just tell me because it's such a...
love you.
Then why?
This is an example of what not to do. In the movie Good Will Hunting, Will struggles to open up to others, and as a result, damages his relationship with his girlfriend, Skylar. The ability to be open is one of the fundamental aspects of any relationship. Without it, your relationship is doomed to fail. I know, that's a difficult thing to hear, but knowledge is freedom, and the first step to making change. Knowing that your challenges opening up negatively affect your relationships is a good thing, because it will allow you to be more aware of it and how it affects your partner, and that awareness will lead to lasting love.